Hello and welcome back to Earth Motor Channel. Today our special guest is this 1969 Pontiac Firebird 400. We'll go more in depth and tell you a little bit about the history of this car as well. In 1953, GM made a futuristic prototype based on fighter planes for the Motorama Auto Show. They called it the Firebird. It never went into production. In 1967, GM rolled out the Firebird using the same platform as its cousin, the Camaro. This 1969 Pontiac 400 produces 330 horsepower and 430 pounds torque. As we've talked about in some of our previous episodes, GM wanted 1 horsepower per 10 pounds. The Pontiac Firebird 400, weighing in at 3,300 pounds, was able to produce 330 horsepower. I'll tell you a little bit about the exterior of this vehicle too. This vehicle is heavy equipped with options. It has the dual hood scoops, of course the 400 small block engine with 330 horsepower. This vehicle was able to produce 425 pounds torque, which basically will get this vehicle down the road in just over 14 seconds and a quarter mile at about 101 miles per hour. It has the factory alloy wheels and beauty rings. It has the rear spoiler on the back. This vehicle is like a time capsule. Let's take a look inside this time capsule here. Everything is all original inside this vehicle. It's equipped with the sport steering wheel, the original 4-speed transmission, and it even comes equipped with the original build sheet included with the car. It's funny how some of these options in these cars were so cheap back then. Just a beautiful car. In very good shape. Let's take a look at the engine. On this 400 small block, again, this vehicle produces 330 horsepower and about 425 pounds torque. Very strong motor for a 400 small block. That's enough walking around this vehicle. Let's take it down the road for a spin. This is our test drive of the 1969 Pontiac Firebird 400. It's hard to believe back in the 60s, these cars had this much horsepower. I'm always surprised too at the steering on these vehicles. The power steering on this vehicle steers like a new car. I know I've said that in some of our previous casts, but man, I'm still amazed at how good the steering is on some of these vehicles. Power steering back in 1969 was actually an upgrade. I can't imagine trying to do manual steering on these vehicles. I'll show you a little bit about the horsepower of this vehicle too. Just going into third gear. No way. There was a handful of cars back in 1969 that had a lot of power that these cars had to compete with. Of course, the Camaros, the Copos, the GTOs, the Boss 429s. I can't imagine having this kind of power in 1969. In the 80s, the Mustang GT we thought was the car to beat. It had a whopping 195 horsepower. This 4-speed actually shifts very well. The clutch is good, solid, tight. And as always, thank you guys so much for joining us. We have so many cool cars to show you. We have a lot of classics coming up. Please like and subscribe to see what we have in store for next week. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good day.